think it's gonna happen anyway.
She already said she'll talk to me. So this is a great way to start. So tell me your name.
My name is Kayla, Kayla Bullen. I've created this collection over here.
So are you related to Pauline Bullen as well?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I've known her since forever.
Really?
Yeah, since I was like a tyke.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, you said the name Bullen and I was like,
Yeah.
because I know you're related.
Yeah.
I just thought she was related to her last night. No, you're related to her. So anyway, it's great. So,
Do you know maybe my uncle Eddie Bullen? He's like a musician.
Yes.
So that's my uncle.
Bullens,
So
you're
the
like,
Bullens are
brilliant.
just,
And then here you are continuing the provenance. It's wonderful.
So this is Blue Collar. It's a collection like recontextualizing what workwear can look like for women.
Stand right, so that we see. Right, perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, so this is a workwear collection focusing on women, but I think it's gender fluid. But I made it for myself in a sense of I see myself as a multidisciplinary artist, and I see that I need durable clothing and things that are functional, but I also want something that I could feel like I can go into different spaces with.
Right.
And so I was trying to kind of look at it in that direction, and I made sure that through material and through specific details, functional was inherent in all of these pieces, but then through shape and silhouette, I was playful. So these are like my version of the carpenter pant. It's a double knee pant, but instead of the second panel that like adds additional coverage coming from the waistline, I did it from the side and I created a shape through it. So I also made them a barrel pant. That shape, a lot of people said, oh, well, was it inspired by Japanese workwear? I guess to an extent, but it really was also inspired by like barrels. Like my family is from the Caribbean and we send barrels consistently, and I know it's like a shape that's always been in my life. So I wanted to kind of like, I don't know, add that into my collection.
Fantastic.
These pants are just like a straight leg pant, but I always love having movement, and I was trying to figure out how to do that, but adding through like style lines and like small details. So that's why I added those pleats, and then this quilt, like this pleated asymmetrical skirt. It was me reclaiming like the kilt skirt that when I went to a Catholic school, there was no pockets. It wasn't really functional, and it used to bother me really a lot. And I thought to myself, like, if that girl became, I don't know, like a jeweler or a ceramicist, and she liked like that is, I like the aesthetic, but I wanted to like reclaim it and make it more functional. So that's what I did here. Obviously, most women in trade or anybody in trade usually has an apron.
Right.
So I did a skirt wrap apron. I ended up using scrap pieces of denim from my friend's denim company to do the bottom, and created like this mosaic piece. I wanted to add some visual interest, but then did a lot of modular pockets. All of my pockets are super deep, so you can have your phone and all your tools in the same place.
Beautiful.
And then I really looked at this as like a complete outfitting. So this is like wardrobe. So you needed some tops and some bottoms. So I looked at like some close to skin layers, that knit piece. I wanted something still that kind of, I don't know, brought some contemporary and elegance, yet super functional and like breathable. So I did this like 2x2 rib shirt with a mock neck, with some seam line details to kind of add interest. And then this dicky, where this to me is like kind of the catalyst of this collection. It was a shirt where I was like, okay, this could be used as kind of like a bib, like if you're working and you don't want to get your other garments dirty.
Right.
But also, it's interesting if you don't wear anything underneath, it becomes like this elegant dress shirt that you can maybe wear out, and like, and it gives you, I guess, multi-space. I don't know.
Multi-usage, right?
Multi-usage, yeah. And then a jacket. It's lined with wool lining. So on the outside, there's 2 welt pockets, and then on the inside, there's this like wool lining. That gives it breathability and warmth, since like wool has really good wicking power. Also, since I didn't have any like zippers on my pocket on the outside, I felt like the need that you need a security pocket for your belongings. So I ensured to add like one security pocket in here so you can put your wallet and phone and feel like it's safe. So so this is like essentially just a speculative collection of like what it could look like if workwear was a little bit more expensive for women. And I'm hoping the next steps is to get it on women in trade or women that use trade mediums
Right.
like metalwork or jewelry, ceramics, maybe even other sewers like myself, and get feedback from them and then see if it actually works.
And it's interesting because a lot of the word I keep in my head is utilitarian.
Yeah.
Right? And it sounds like what you're also doing, really importantly, is, because even though you're saying women in trade, all I'm thinking is women.
Yeah.
Like just clothing that are practical. Even when you talked about the uniform skirt,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, where's the pocket to put stuff in that I
Yeah.
might be carrying or need, right? And I hear that from women all the time about how gendered clothing for women tends to have those limitations, right?
Yeah.
With assumptions about the kinds of lives that you live and or that you should live.
Exactly. And then I also wanted it to not be so like gendered forward. Like, so the way I looked at these silhouettes, I feel like anybody could wear them.
Right.
Yes, I did make it for myself, but I do see like a lot, and people have given me the same feedback where they look at these garments and
Anybody can wear them.
Anybody can wear
I
them.
would wear them.
Yeah.
That skirt. I'm looking at that pleat skirt, going okay.
Yeah.
Because I've seen them before, but I like the way that you've styled them there, right?
Yeah.
Because Tom Brown does them,
Yeah.
and then this other guy. Oh, Singh. He's an amazing designer out of New, and he only makes skirts for men, but he's also made that silhouette a number of times.
Okay.
And it's
I'm
brilliant.
not sure, but yeah, I definitely know the
Terry. His name is Terry Singh.
Terry Singh.
Terry,
Okay.
look for
Okay.
Terry Singh.
Okay,
I follow him on Instagram, and he used to just do it privately, and now he's started a line, and he got picked up, and keeps having these shows. And look for him on Instagram, TerrySingh.
Okay.
Terry Singh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what it made me think of as well, and it's just brilliantly cut.
Thank you.
And as you said, the fabric you use is sturdy.
Exactly.
Right.
It's meant to be like worked, and it's a double warp, single weft, double warp, which
Right.
makes it like a super tight weave, and also you can wax the fabric. So like that canvas is known. It's been a kind of like foundational fabric throughout most of workwear. It's the same kind of thing with denim. And you can wax it so you can make it water resistant and like coat it, and that's what I loved about it. Also, as it fades, it creates this like interesting patina, which I really loved. So that's why I'm like, the longevity of this fabric and the way that it will change over time, and it also molds to the body, which I really love. So at first it starts out pretty stiff, but then as you wear it, it like molds to you, and I really love that. Like all my work garments are made out of these fabrics. So
What I love with that piece that you described there,
Yeah.
right, is you're elevating them too. Even though it's like a hardy fabric,
Yeah.
it looks styled, like something you could wear out as almost like almost a silk or
Yeah.
like a nylon or a poly cotton or something. Like it doesn't look heavy. Because often you think of the fabrics you're describing
Yeah.
as heavy fabrics, right?
Yeah.
They're just going to be cumbersome and
Yeah.
like you're lumbering around in them literally because they're supposed to be sturdy and hardy, right? But yeah, it doesn't feel like that. So you've been able, in your cut and your styling and your designing, have been able to somehow interrupt that kind of experience of it.
That was the goal, and I'm really happy that you saw that. Yeah. The last piece that I did also is the belt buckle. So another kind of like starting point for me was my parents. My dad's a mechanic, and my mom is like works in the corporate world, and they both always had like a belt as part of their uniform.
Right.
And it's just something that I was like, okay, this is intrinsically within both worlds that I'm trying to kind of like fuse into one sort of like this like sartorial way of dressing,
Right.
but then super functional way of dressing. And so I found, if you look at my like research book, so this book kind of gives you an idea of like all of the steps that I took to
Right.
get to, I kind of speak about the belt. So this is my dad right here,
Right.
and he wears this belt almost every day. And then this is a belt that my mom used to wear almost like all the time for work. And I loved like the simplicity, but still like this like, I guess, hardiness and like structure. This belt is from probably the
I have that
80s.
belt.
Yeah. And it's like still lasts, and now she's given it to me. So I kind of wanted to replicate that, but add my own like, I guess I don't know, aesthetic to it. So I took the B from my logo and I molded it here. And then, so this gives you like an example of some of the samples. So I started off with a wood mold, and then this was like the samples, and I didn't like obviously how they turned out. So then I changed my mold to a wax mold that like jewelers use. It's called ferrous wax. It's,
Right.
It's a polymer wax, and I carved that, and then I sand casted it, and that's what came out of it. So.
And it's an art piece on its own.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm glad you see it that way. Yeah. So that's kind of my collection, and I really hope people enjoy it. I'm gonna be doing like some made-to-order items.
Good,
So
good.
And then probably like evolving it as people give me feedback. So.
And is that your ring? The shape? I was like,
No, this ring is Corey Morales. She used to go to OCAD. I really love it. But yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I thought it was the actual
No.
piece.
Yeah.
Right? What was I gonna say? Oh, and you said Caribbean heritage. So what's your Caribbean? You know,
So-
Guyanese for sure.
Actually, so like I'm that part of the Bullens are Grenada, but
Right.
there's like three. It's Guyana, Trinidad, and Grenada. But I'm Canadian and Trinidadian. So
That's how you describe it. Getting interested.
no, I'm Grenadian and Trinidad. Well,
Oh, Canadian. I
Trinidad.
heard Canadian. Oh,
No.
Canadian Trinidad does that
No,
mix, right?
Grenadian and Trinidadian.
Right.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And how do you see that influencing you? I know you talked a bit about it earlier, but how, in other ways that it influences your work, or your aesthetic, you think?
To be honest,
If at all.
if it's in this work, not right now. But my parents really influenced me, so I kind of talked about that here. We're building my concept philosophy. I really looked at like the mythologies of dress that both my parents have. My dad has this like uniform that he wears underneath all of his like work clothes. So it's like a black t-shirt, black pair of pants, and that belt buckle. And then my mom is like just always like has to, I guess, demand respect and in a room because of the environments that she worked in.
Right.
And so I wanted to blend both of those. So those have been like, my parents have been really much an influence of like how I got to this point, I think. And then I like went into my design philosophy and looking at form and function and like really trying to get to a point where how do I look at material, how do I look at form, and how do I kind of make sure that they work together instead of it like being super separate. So I looked at product design as a form, as just kind of like a design research. So this purse is actually made out of seatbelts, but because of the shape, it has this elegance, yet the function of seatbelts isn't lost.
Right.
I also looked at how when you remove an item from a space, it changes its context. So this clock is technically made for boats, but then when you took it out of its context and bring it into like, I don't know, a home, it elevates it, and it's interesting to see. You would never have thought of it when you saw it in like a boat structure. And then I looked at how shape kind of can elevate the use of the product. So this bicycle was like made in 1946. And I loved how the shapes kind of like resembled the movement that the product it was created. And so that's so I like use these forms and thoughts of like ways of thinking of form and function to kind of help me like get to a point to create these pieces.
No, thank you. This is great to hear you talk about it like that.
Yeah. And then I did some case studies of like of different brands. I worked like specifically 3 brands. I did Reese Cooper, Awake Mode, and Peter Doe. Within all brands, I kind of had like a specific question I was asking myself. With Reese Cooper, it was like essentially they used workwear as an aesthetic, and I was like, and they do it pretty successfully. And so I was like, what does that mean and what does that look like? And so I kind of analyzed their recent collection and kind of created like a legend to kind of identify the things that I think that they were doing to make it successful. For Awake Mode, I asked myself, like, how do they contemporize and push the boundaries of minimalism through shape and texture? And I like did the same thing. And then for Peter Doe, I kind of asked the exact same question. And I really loved, like, this was also a pretty big point when I saw this, because it's technically an apron, but because of the materials he used, it elevated the shape to be beyond its use. And so I was just like, how can I do that within my own products to like expand just how people use these products? And and then I also did some field studies. So I went around and like looked at what makes workwear and like what I like like what specific functional details that have been added to garments to help ensure that these garments like last and are great for use. And then I went into my color story and things like that. Yeah, so this book is like pretty extensive. If you ever want to take the time to read it, you're welcome to. Yeah, it also goes into like my prototyping. So
Brilliant.
yeah, and like my tech packing, because a few of the garments I couldn't construct myself. Not that I couldn't, but I didn't have the time. So I
Right.
had a friend, but I wanted to make sure that like all of the details I wanted was on it. So I had to create like a technical package so that they would be able to like understand my vision and bring it to life. And so yeah, then we did sampling and we worked through there. So that's kind of
Wow. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Very thoughtful, very, in terms of how you get to where you are with all this wonderful work.
Yeah.
Right? Just that process, right?
Yeah.
And what I love too about, when you're looking at those particular, the purse and the clock and the bicycle,
Yeah.
it makes me think about, for example, when I go travel and I go to certain parts of the world and I see beautifully made products that people use every day.
Yeah.
Like a bowl, a spoon,
Yeah.
a fork, a knife, right? An axe even, right? Or a saw, like
Yeah.
the way they make the handle. And that's been forever. So literally product design starts with human beings trying to make something that's functional, really
Yeah.
and truly. And most of what we see around us really is sort of aping some of those shapes that
Yeah.
we grew up always seeing around us.
Yeah, actually, I read this like quote that really like impacted the way I looked at this. Was that okay? I might butcher it, and I hope you don't.
all right.
But you can't have form without function, or no, you can't have function without form, but you can have form without function. And that really resonated with me because obviously function was very much a core part of like my ethos when I going into this. So how do I do that while still ensuring that the form like adds value to the function? And so that's something that I wanted form and function to like work together instead of being one or the other. So yeah, so it's kind of
Beautiful.
how I
And
thought
you
about
call
that.
your brand Blue Collar.
So my collection is called Blue Collar. My brand is called Cable.
Cable. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good to get clear.
Yeah.
Cable.
Yeah.
And Blue Collar is this collection,
Yes.
right? And more collections to come.
Exactly.
Are you working on anything now that's coming that you can
Real-
talk about? Because sometimes you're going to keep things quiet.
Yeah, honestly, right now I'm just like focusing on this. This has been a year's like worth of work, and so now it's like next steps. How do I bring this to other people, like product development, and yeah. So this is my next steps: creating a website, all of those like.
And that's
small-
what I'm asking is how do people get the collection,
Yeah,
purchase
so
collection?
at the moment I'm doing pretty like go onto my socials, which is _KAYBUL, or email me at cableco@gmail.com, and then we'll do a fitting and go from there. But I am working on like creating a website and launching this like brand.
So follow you on your socials
Yes,
so
please.
they can get updated on where next
Yeah.
steps in terms of putting hands on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Men and women.
Exactly, men and women.
Or non-binary.
Exactly.
Everybody.
Exactly.
Anybody
Exactly.
that wants to wear it. If it fits you, looks good on you, come
Yes.
get it.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
Thank you for talking to
No
me
problem.
so
Thank you for,
much.
like, yeah.
And indulging me. Almost 18 minutes. Anyway, good luck with everything.
Thank you.
right.
Okay.
MLSE, the people who
I'm going to take some.
Yeah.
do a lot in terms of creators of content.
This is beautiful. Look at this piece. This is great. Let me see the work of it.
Thank you. Yeah.
I am what I am.
Yeah.
Look at the back of this. These are great. I love these pleats on the side. Like I would wear this for sure. And the fabric is light, this one. This is very much like a painter's pants. But I love her thing about the barrel legs. Ode back to the barrels, right? That in the Caribbean get sent home. And the skirt pants.
Looking for that. Yeah.
And I love this. The multiple layers of the pockets. See, and these are like utilitarian pockets. Look at how it looks on.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's still a lot of different.
I love this shop.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? Do I have to like run a blood test on you to
No.
see where that's the happen?
Yeah.
So here's particulars of this concept. Again, if anyone can wear anything, I love it.
Yeah.
And again, try them because they really want to push smaller creators in the city.
Yeah.
And that would be a big thing for you if you could do that.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. I will definitely look at that.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your day.
You as well. Did Sandy leave?
See you in the store.
She went looking for some other. She's gonna come back, I think. She went looking for. I hope that was an ice drink, not a hot drink. It's an ice drink.
Yeah,
right?
it's an ice
okay.
drink, yeah.
So it's like, oh man, I'm keeping you from drinking your hot drink,
No,
and
no,
it's
no,
getting
no.
cold.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Sandra also knows me, so she knew
Yeah.
I'd probably take a while. So she said, "Oh, let me go
Like,
walk around and
okay,
come
yeah.
back." If I run into her, I'll tell her that you're asking for her. Oh, and is what you're wearing your designs too?
No, this is I couldn't make my stuff, but I am wearing just like Oakenford, some local.
It's very nice.
Thank you,
Very
thank
good.
you, thank you.
It's a nice kind of blending into spring, into summer. You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Not too bright popping color yet, but because I know you do that too. Yeah. All right, melanin people, we
Yeah.
gotta break out some color. But yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But I want this belt. It should be a signature belt. I love these pleats. And this side is for the plus. There it is, ties on the shoulder.
I'm liar, pants on. I am. I'm okay.
This morning was very difficult to get here. I was trying to get here for 10 a.m.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right.